In 2023 and 2024, more than 400,000 white-collar tech workers lost their jobs.
We're seeing a really unusual situation where white-collar workers, professionals, are being laid off in greater numbers relative to the rest of the workforce.
Not factory workers, not warehouse staff. College-educated professionals, analysts, engineers, marketers, managers, handed a box, a 2-sentence email, and a press release that mentioned artificial intelligence. The story we were told was simple. AI was going to make companies dramatically more efficient. Roles that humans spent 8 hours a day on data analysis, report writing, contract review, customer research, could now be handled in minutes. So companies made a decision. They didn't wait for the AI to arrive. They cut first and planned to automate later. But here's what the data is showing in 2026. The workers are gone. The productivity never came. And the people who replaced them? In most cases, there aren't any human or machine. Now, here's where the story gets genuinely strange. Because the companies that cut those workers in the name of AI efficiency, most of them aren't actually getting the efficiency gains they promised investors. The MIT Nandanda Center recently released a report called the Gen AI Divide. The finding is striking. Despite $40 billion in global enterprise AI investment, 95% of generative AI pilots in the corporate sector have failed to deliver a single dollar of measurable return. Most organizations are reporting zero net impact on their bottom line. Reuters confirmed this in a separate analysis. Nearly 97% of tech leaders surveyed said they had integrated AI into their back-end operations. But 2/3 of them reported they hadn't saved a single human headcount as a result. So what's happening? The gap is between what AI can do in a demo and what it can actually do inside a messy, real-world organization. Knowledge work isn't just task execution. It's context. It's institutional memory. It's knowing why a client prefers a certain approach, or how a legal argument needs to be framed for a specific judge, or which data point finance is going to push back on in the quarterly review. McKinsey's analysis put it this way: generative AI can automate up to 70% of the time employees spend on certain subtasks, data retrieval, basic summarization, first draft generation. What it cannot automate is the judgment layer on top of those tasks. And in white-collar work, that judgment layer is often where the value actually lives. The companies cut the humans. The AI didn't fully show up. And now they have the worst of both worlds: fewer experienced workers to apply judgment, and AI tools that work best when supervised by exactly the people they laid off. So which roles are genuinely at risk? Not from the hype, but from the actual data. Goldman Sachs flagged approximately 300 million jobs globally as exposed to some degree of AI automation. The concentration is heaviest in 4 white-collar categories. Legal support is first. Contract review, legal research, first draft document preparation. Goldman estimated that roughly 44% of legal tasks fit the profile for automation. Major law firms are already deploying AI for discovery and contract analysis. Paralegal and junior associate roles are directly in the crosshairs. Finance and analysis is second. Data aggregation, financial modeling, monthly reporting, variance analysis. These are the core tasks of financial analysts, junior accountants, and business intelligence roles. The automation potential here is high precisely because the tasks are structured and data-driven. Marketing and content is third. Copywriting, SEO analysis, first draft campaign briefs, social media scheduling. AI tools are already performing these functions at a quality level that's good enough for many corporate applications. And middle management is fourth, and arguably the most significant. The World Economic Forum's 2023 Future of Jobs report projected that 83 million roles globally would be displaced by 2027, with the net loss concentrated specifically in administrative and coordination roles. Middle managers, who primarily move information between layers of an organization rather than making strategic decisions, are structurally exposed. The common thread: structured, repeatable information processing work. The roles furthest from genuine risk are those requiring relationship management, novel problem solving, ethical judgment, and high-stakes client interaction. But the layoffs are only half the story. The other half is who isn't getting hired at all. Stanford researchers tracking AI-exposed roles found that employment among workers under 35 has declined significantly, while it has actually increased for workers over 35. The entry-level hiring pipeline, the one that feeds white-collar careers, is drying up. Between 2023 and 2025, entry-level hiring in white-collar fields dropped by nearly 50%. Companies aren't replacing the people they cut with junior workers who could grow into those roles. They're asking existing senior staff to do more, with AI tools as theoretical support. The downstream effect is a talent pipeline problem that won't be visible for years. If you don't hire entry-level analysts today, you won't have senior analysts in 5 years. The institutional knowledge doesn't regenerate automatically. And for the workers who are finding jobs, the AI narrative is being used as a salary suppression tool. Hiring managers are sitting across from candidates and saying, "We recognize your value, but since AI is handling a significant portion of the workflow, we can't justify 2022-level compensation." It's a bluff in many cases because the AI isn't handling what they claim. But in a market flooded with displaced workers, the bluff is working. So here's the bottom line for 2026. The AI boom created a white-collar job crisis, not by delivering on its promises, but by weaponizing the expectation of those promises. Companies restructured in anticipation of AI productivity that hasn't fully materialized. Workers were let go for a transformation that's still largely theoretical inside most organizations. 3 things are clear from the data. First, the layoffs were real, but many were cost corrections dressed up as AI strategy. Second, the genuinely exposed roles are those centered on structured, repeatable information processing, and those workers need to be moving toward judgment layer skills now, not later. And third, the companies using AI to suppress wages are betting on a buyer's market that won't last forever. When the AI productivity gains remain elusive and the talent pipeline shrinks, the pendulum will shift again. Anthropic's own CEO has warned that entry-level knowledge work is at genuine long-term risk. That's not hype, it's a real structural shift. But the timeline is slower and messier than the headlines suggest, and the workers who understand both the real capabilities and the real limits of these tools are the ones who will navigate it best. For more weekly insights into the tech economy, subscribe to the AI Briefing.